Good morning. Meeting is now called to order. Items from the public. If there's anybody here that would like to speak this morning. Okay, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
If there's no modifications or changes, I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Been properly moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Purchase order log. Anything for Tracy this morning? Okay. Mr. Wine, we have two separate internal budget revisions.
You do, sir. The first one from Sheriff Blair in account 700, requesting approval to move $2,000 from refunds and reimbursements to his professional services line item in account 700. And then from Sheriff Blair in account 409, requesting authorization to move $942 from materials and supplies to his contractual line item.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Change of status, hiring recommendation received from Mike Lang, Chief Court Marshal, for Tiffany Councilman as a Deputy Court Marshal with an annual salary of $40,968. That's effective 4/1/26. Hiring recommendation received from the Honorable Rob Blair, Sheriff, for Jason Wilcox as an Animal Control Officer with an annual salary of $40,968. That's effective 4/20/26. Change of status received from Mike Lang, Chief Court Marshal, for Jason Owens, Deputy Court Marshal, to transfer to Transportation with an annual salary change from $42,712 to $46,956. That's effective 3/16/26. Letter of retirement received from Gary Wine, County Administrator, for Jack Lang, Facilities Director, effective 6/1/26. Letter of resignation received from Chad Weinbrenner, Deputy County Administrator, for Jack Rudy, for IT Specialist 3. That's effective 3/24/26. Letter of resignation received from Tim Zayed, Director of Community Corrections, for Mike McCauley, Home Confinement Officer. That's effective 3/25/26. The March 19th minutes, everyone was present. So I do need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Next up, our Assessor, Larry Hess. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Got a couple of things this week. First thing I have is, we do have one taxpayer error. Reported the vehicle, shouldn't have done it. This is the first offense for this lady, so, it has an amount of $271.46 on.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the one personal tax exoneration due to taxpayer error, first offense.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. Second thing I have, we do have some personal property, have 5 of them that we had to correct for those reasons that's listed there. They total up to $567.46 for those 5.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the 5 personal tax exonerations as described by the assessor.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you. The last thing I have, we do have a couple for real estate. We had to correct. The first 4 was for, it was back taxed in error, so we had to correct those. And the last couple was for a basement that we found that wasn't finished for the last 4 years. We had to correct that. Total amount of those comes up to $3,547.92.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the 8 real estate tax exonerations due to office error.
So moved, Mr. President.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Go ahead.
Thank you very
Have
much.
a good day.
You too.
Good to see you.
Meeting reports. Mr. Boyd.
Yes, sir. had the Main Street meeting on Monday, but I was unable to attend. I had food poisoning really bad.
Oh,
And so I called and asked for an update. I haven't heard yet. When I get it, I will let you know how that went. And then we had the CVB meeting yesterday. Went pretty well. Awarded a few grants. So one to the Roundhouse, one to Apollo. These were for the Roundhouse. It's for Heritage Days weekends. That's a growing event. It's now almost 2 weekends long, multiple locations, Adam Stevens House, Roundhouse, Raymer, and a couple other places. Good event. It's been growing. And then left my notes. Occupancy is way up at the hotels.
Good.
The southern half of the state, way down. Northern half of the state, up. Northern Panhandle is second to us. Eastern Panhandle is the highest right now, with occupancy over 55% right now for hotels in the last month, and up on the year in total. Airbnbs and VRBOs are down just a little bit. The directors did attend the state CVB's thing at the Greenbrier. The big talk there was AI and how to use AI and in advertising and things for Convention and Visitor Bureau. So that's bulk of the meeting.
thank you. Commissioner Hardy.
Before I start talking about our my meetings this week, I'd like to just take a moment to remember Robert Bob Butler. Mr. Butler passed away, and he a longtime member of this community, served this community for a long time in a lot of different roles. He was a member of the Planning Commission. He was a member of the Development Authority, and many other roles. And knew him, knew his family. Good people, and I feel like Mr. Butler had a very long, exciting life. He got to do a lot of different things, and I appreciated getting to know him. I probably only knew him for like the last 10 years or so, but I appreciated the time to get to know him, and I just wanted to recognize his passing and his contributions to the county.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about our meetings this week. We had our town hall meeting on Friday night at Spring Mills High School. That was very well attended. We tried to take as best notes as we could and take all the questions and working on getting those questions answered. We're still continuing to work on that. I believe there was somewhere between, I've heard numbers from 400 to 700, so somewhere in between there. So a very large turnout for the town hall meeting. I'm very glad that we had that. It wasn't the most comfortable situation that I've ever been in, but that's okay. Sometimes when you're an elected official and you put yourself in a position, you take your lumps. And I appreciate the people that came out and asked their questions and exercised their rights. So that was Friday night. Monday, I had a Region 9 meeting in Morgan County. And we had updates on various different projects that are going on throughout the county. We had a pretty comprehensive review from Matt Mullinex from the MPO, the HEPMO, on road projects that are going on in the Eastern Panhandle. And then also on Monday, Monday was a busy day. I had a Board of Health meeting and a Water Board meeting, and those were just your standard board meetings. Nothing too crazy jumped off and out at those. So Monday was busy with 3 meetings. I have a project that's going on in the southern part of the county, so I stopped by the park and chewed the fat with the guys up there that's moving the dirt and the rocks and water lines and all that kind of stuff. So I walked around with those guys for a little bit, and they showed me a little bit what's going on. And it's still a pretty rough site, but things are moving, and it's going to be a beautiful park when it's done. So not a whole lot to report there. Still a lot of dirt and ditches and piles of rocks and piles of dirt, but it will continue to move forward. So
More rock than dirt.
what's that?
More rock than
There's
dirt.
quite a bit of rock. There is quite a bit of
There's a
rock.
quarry right across
There,
the road.
there is, well, you know, South Berkeley's known for limestone. So, but yeah, I appreciated the gentleman there.
Ralph.
Yeah, he took me around and showed me. So, but that was my boards and meetings and all the exciting things that happened this week.
Very good. Thanks, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner Whitaker.
No meetings to report on, but I wanted to, have done a lot of reading on the meeting that you all had on Friday, and like John said, sometimes we're put in a tough position and an uncomfortable position, but my hat's off to you too. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Catlin.
I just had one board meeting, senior services yesterday. I wanted to recognize Ken Collison sitting back there, city councilman. He serves on that same board that I do, and it's actually a blessing to serve on that board, and Ken. So, we have a volunteer dinner coming up in April that our board members serve the meal to those that volunteer at the senior center throughout the year. You're talking quite a number of people. In May, they have the Under the Sea Senior Prom, so if you missed yours in high school, you're welcome to attend. You have to dance with a lot of ladies, though, if you show up there. So, in September, we have the Heroes Dinner, which they came last week and said that the commission's going to be honored. And truthfully, the credit there goes to Jack Lang and Gary Wine, our staff that has just done wonderful things for the senior center over the years. And we appreciate y'all's efforts, Gary and Jack. Have just done tremendous, and the rest of the staff. So we'll accept our kudos on your behalf. So, but I hope that all of you can attend that this year. It is a major fundraiser now for the senior center, and this will be the third year of that. So
What's the date on that, Steve?
it'll be in September. I think it's the 17th.
September 17th.
17th, yeah. Yes.
And an
So-
invitation will go out to Gary and Jack also.
Yeah, so, and the one big concern there for the last several months at the senior center has been the PEIA situation at the state level. But Amy assured me yesterday when I asked the question, what's the latest? They think that PEIA is going to work something out, because they were actually going to eliminate groups that weren't direct employees of the state with that health insurance, and that was a major issue for the employees over there. So it looks like they're going to get it worked out for at least another year. So, and then later this evening, I have our another wonderful board I get to serve on is our ambulance authority that does a terrific job, and we meet in this room at 5 o'clock this evening. So, looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Gary, would you give us an update on the Inwood Park? I wasn't able to attend that meeting this week.
Sure. So much as Commissioner Hardy said, there's a lot of rock and dirt, but we're to the point now where they're going to be starting to move topsoil and line the ponds. The seeding season's coming soon, so they're working really hard. We the water change order for the water order that the water district is going to pay for is 99% done. They have a couple little things that they expected to be done by tomorrow, so they'll be done with that piece. No major changes to the project. On your purchase order log today was your match to the TAP grant that you got awarded. If you remember, you've already authorized that and given the commission president the authority to sign. So the TAP grant award, will be bidding that soon, and there's an effort afoot to get that on the street. And it's public bid. It'll be what it'll be. But the thought process is if LCW, who is the current GC, if they get that bid, it will be less expensive for you because they won't have someone to come mobilize and so on and so forth. So if timing works out, you may get that done even a little more cost effective than you're planning for. So all's moving full steam ahead. And fingers crossed, if you get that land and water grant, you may have 100% of the attractions at the park under your belt by the time this is all done. So still looking at the later part of this year for it to be open, but it's coming. It's moving fast.
Sure is. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I had a fire board meeting last Thursday after our regular commission meeting. And one of the things that I've been working on is to look at our current fleet. I've been working with the chiefs in conversation with them about the possibility of refurbing a lot of the equipment that we already have. You know, the current cost of fire apparatus is absolutely through the roof. It's in excess of 3 years to get once you sign a contract, and more than 3 years out to get that back into the community. So if we can refurb certain pieces of equipment and get another 15 years of life out of them for about half or less than half of the cost, and back in service within 10 months, then we've done really, really good. So those are the things that we're looking at. We want to be able to look at the entire picture with our fleet and working through the Fire Rescue Association and the Fire Board to get this stuff accomplished. Back Creek has request or is coming forward. They're going to need additional living quarters there. There's no way we can get 24-hour ambulance coverage over there without additional renovation to their building to accommodate overnight fire and EMS staff. So those things are in the works. As John mentioned, we had the town hall, and truthfully, I want to thank everybody that came and presented themselves. That's democracy at its best at the local level, and I appreciate them. I appreciate your comments, and I did take notes, and we've already reached out with emails to the state to try to get some of this stuff addressed. I also want to thank the school system and Mr. Salvia and Dr. Sachs, and along with the sheriff's office and Alonzo Perry. They did a nice job, and we appreciate that. Following up, I was on R&R this week to discuss mostly data centers and WEPM as well. Also, in between, I had a development authority meeting. We do have a local industry that's wanting to expand their operation, and a sizable investment, capital expenditures, and well, it's about 40 jobs. So those things are good. We just got a lot of stuff to work through, and that's mostly on their side of stuff. So it's been a busy week, but it's been a good week. So.
And follow up on your thing about the fire trucks and the equipment, knowing how long it takes the ambulance authority, of course, goes through the same issues. Yeah, it takes 1.5 years to 2 years to get a new ambulance.
Yeah.
But they are taking older ones and doing remounts on them as well. So it's the right way to go, and combination of both really makes it work. So
The thing there was we had to get an assessment done of the vehicles to make sure
if they're worth restoring in the first place.
Yeah. So I appreciate the gentleman that came down. He did a very thorough inspection, and then like with the motors and transmissions, they'll end up with doing samples of the oil and that kind of stuff, so they can get a real good idea of what's going on. So it's pretty thorough, and it's really needed to be able to make those decisions. Next up is our honorary commissioner, Chase Domenico, from St. Joe School. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Chase. Good morning. Can I get you to come up here and stand? You stand up here next to the flag, and we'll get you all sworn in.
Yes, sir.
You want to stand right here, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. I, Chase Domenico,
I, Chase Domenico,
do swear
do swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
that I will hold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of West Virginia,
and the Constitution of West Virginia,
that I will work hard to fulfill my responsibilities
that I will work harder for my responsibilities
of the office of Honorary Commissioner,
of the office of Honorary Commissioner,
to which I have been appointed.
to which I have been appointed.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, thank you very much. Chase, we appreciate you being here today. We can stay right here for a second. We've got a certificate here for you. We appreciate you coming in and being with us. We're going to get a picture here for in a little bit with all the commissioners. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself, where you go to school, what grade you're in, what you might want to do in the future?
So my name is Chase Domenico, as he said, and I go to St. Joseph Catholic School. I am an 8th grader. I have played basketball from 6th to 8th grade at St. Joseph School. I like to, I just learn about science. That's my favorite subject in school. It really fascinates me, and I'm glad to be here.
Oh, that's great. Any idea what you might want to do after you get out of high school? You going to college or?
Yeah, to WVU,
All right,
where all my siblings went.
cool. That's good. I think a lot of us have a lot of children and siblings that went to WVU. I put 2 through there myself, so that's good. Well, it's glad to have you today. We appreciate you being here. Does you and gentlemen have any questions?
How did you put up with Vic Lupus for 3 years coaching basketball? Was that a struggle?
Well, he was a good coach.
He's
You know,
very
I mean, he
demanding,
put
very
me
demanding,
through
wasn't he? Yeah.
some tough times,
Yeah.
but he pushed me through it.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Tough times make you stronger.
They do.
Well, Chase, thank you very much for being here today. We appreciate you. You can have a seat back down. If you have anything you want to add to any of our conversations, please feel free to reach out. And if you hear one of us say something that you think's not right, then call us out on it. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Kate. All right. Next up, Kara Harding, Director of the Berkeley County, Morgan County Health Board. Good morning.
First, I want to thank you all for your funding approval that happened last week for that next year. Thank you all very much. I want to start with that this morning. So a couple of items that I have. The main thing is, of course, fees for service. As you are aware, any new fees of service on the environmental side, they do need to be approved by both our Board of Health and by you all as the commission. But before that, what you have in front of you in the read ahead was the food handler card proposal that was approved by our Board of Health January 26th. So the material that was provided to you was a proposal per State Code Chapter 16. Food handler cards have always been a requirement. However, we've never been able to do that in the past, mainly because of the time that it would take for our staff to do the training and the cards. So thanks to COVID, a lot of training came available online, one of which is state food safety, which is pretty much who just about every county in our state is utilizing to do this. So what this is a card. We went with a 2-year card. That way that person doesn't have to worry about it. And so the fees for that would be really annually $10. And there's a processing fee that state food safety charges us. So it would be $20.99 that would go to the health department and $10 that goes to state food safety for utilizing the test online. And also if they want a statewide 1 year, it would be a cost of $30.99, and 10 of that goes to state food safety, and the remaining would go to us. So what is provided in here is documentation that shows scientifically that having staff have additional training in food handling does help with both their inspections and also the likelihood of someone getting sick, like with food poisoning. As Mr. Boyd mentioned, it does still happen, but this, what currently state food, the Federal Food Code requires that only one person have manager level food training. This would be in addition to that, so that everyone that is in the establishment has a card on their person. That would be the requirement of the inspector to check that when they are there to make sure that they have it. They have it 30 days to get it once they're hired. There also is a group discount rate if the restaurant or the establishment decides to pay for their employees. There is a discount there if they do get, several. But honestly, I kind of feel like it would be up to the employee to get it, because they could, get it and then go to any other place within the state or in the county based upon what they choose, and would already have that. So some of the other documentation there is a article that was completed by the state of West Virginia with the highlights of number of outbreaks. We also, Michaela, our sanitarian chief, wrote down the numbers of outbreaks that we've had here in Berkeley and Morgan. And we generally get inundated with complaints about individuals being sick. It's very hard to pinpoint an establishment unless you have multiple individuals that are sick. They can be sporadic, but we do investigate all of the food complaints that come into us. So what I'm asking is for you all to approve the notion of food handler cards for Berkeley County for a 2-year food handler permit. And then also, like I said, it's at their discretion whether they want a 1-year statewide. So we are the only 2 counties, Berkeley and Morgan, that do not have food handler cards in the state. So I am asking for your approval to make that a requirement per Chapter 16, now that we have found a source that can help us be able to provide that.
So it's always was my understanding, Kara, that as long as there was one person with that organization, if they had the permit, then everybody else came under their umbrella. But I think what has occurred, according to what I've, read, was that a lot of times that person's not there.
Right.
They're off that day, or they're just not there. So there's nobody doing the food service that has had that particular training. Is that correct?
It's not a requirement that they be on site, so they could be somewhere else. But what the inspectors run across a lot of times, and in my own experience, you have someone that maybe their sole purpose is to wash dishes. So you would think that they would have training on how to wash dishes, but they have not. So this training, which is about a 45-minute online training, goes over the basics with them, how to sanitize things, the importance of washing hands, so that it doesn't put so much on that manager to make sure that they train their 30 or 40 staff. It puts some accountability on that person and some ownership to make sure that they know what they need to do to be, working with food.
Yeah, so my question is, the food safety card that owners get now, what does that card consist of? What does that training consist of? And what is the cost of that?
So there aren't any cards that anyone gets but a manager level certificate. And that is, like I said, one per permit. So it is around $125, and it's good for 5 years. There's about 10 or 11 different organizations that provide that online.
Mhm.
But like I said, it's good for 5 years. So what we look for is that at least one person in the establishment has that training.
Right.
That is the only requirement right now.
So it's $125 and it lasts for 5 years, and that's for a management level?
Manager level.
Right.
This is just a basic food
Right.
handler training. That
So-
we're asking.
How does this work so to me, quite honestly, this seems it's a quite onerous on small businesses. So let's say you are a private restaurant owner and you have quite a bit of turnover. I know of a company that has a fast food chain of pizza restaurants that has 200 employees, but they hire 500 people a year.
Right.
So they have huge turnover. So that's a lot to ask for a small business owner to pay $30 for each one of these employees. That may work for you for 30 days or 40 days. I know you said there was a 30-day grace period, and maybe those employees would be gone before that. But I think that it's the business owner's job to use the managers to train people how to wash dishes and how to safely handle food. Obviously, if they want them to have this training, they can have this training. But I just think that this is a very kind of a broad overreach into private industry, private businesses to require everyone in the building to have this card. I mean, what about agencies like Parks and Rec who hire a lot of young people to work in their snack bars? I mean, are they going to incur the cost of that? There's a lot of restaurants, that have a lot of quick turnover in people. So you say we're the only county in the state of West Virginia that does this? That does it?
Berkeley and Morgan are
So
the only
every
two.
other county requires every person that works in a restaurant to have one of these cards?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so we get that question a lot from Jefferson County. So most of the people that are working in the food industry in any other area within, like I said, Jefferson County already have that card. So their card would be transferable and would be good in Berkeley County if that was the type of card that they, decided to go with. But what we're finding is even though the managers are required to provide this training, they are not. And like I said, there is a discount for large number of people that would want to take it if the employer does choose to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel personally that the employee should have that requirement if they want to work in food, especially if they've already been doing that. They should already have it, honestly. But yes, I mean, anyone that would come to us that would want a permit would need to have this card.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. I just think that it just adds another layer. I mean,
Right.
food service is very hard to hire people in food service. It's very hard to keep people in food service. Now you're going to go to a person that's going to make a very small wage. Maybe they will make better money in their tips, and now we're saying we want you to spend $30 to get this training, or the
Which
operator would
equates to
have
about
to.
$15 a year for them for two.
I understand that.
And then, but the real thing that it comes down to is it is required per Chapter 16 of West Virginia State
Mhm.
Code. We just have not been able to do it, like I said, for staffing and not having a means that, you know, for our clerks to make, we have close to 1,000 food establishments in Berkeley County. For them to make cards for every single employee would be a lot. So like I said, this company has taken that on, $10 per person to be able to help with that, since we only have 2 clerks in environmental. But yes, we have needed to do it for a long time, but the 20+ years that I've been at the health department, we've never.
How many people do you think would need to get these cards in the county? Like, how many people work in food establishments that would need to get this?
You're talking thousands.
Correct.
Right.
There would be a lot.
I
And
mean,
have you run the numbers of the cost? What cost that is to your establishments?
Like I said, the real issue is knowing what they're, you know, of course, the larger corporate ones probably have 30 to 40. Some may have, you know, just a handful. So because the number of establishments grow daily, one's open, several close. Now, we haven't, you know, ran the exact numbers. I mean, obviously, it will generate revenue for our health department to help with, you know, things that we need. But first and foremost, we feel that it will help protect people. You know, like I said, with knowing that the person has had some type of basic knowledge training in order to work in the restaurant.
And the training is online?
It's all online.
It's all
It comes in a magnitude of different languages, so there shouldn't be any type of language barrier or anything like that.
Is there a cost for the online course?
No, this is it. The fees that I mentioned, it's all online, and like I said, state food safety takes care of it. They take their piece of, which is $10, and then they send the rest to the health department for that person. And we elected that we wanted a training where they actually have to listen for 45 minutes and can't just click all the way to the end and take the test. We want to make sure that they actually are listening and paying attention and gaining the knowledge.
You guys used to do a class, right?
We did for just like the person in charge before the requirement became of the manager level food training, yes.
If this card becomes a requirement, is there a way to do away with needing the $100 and some one?
Because that is in the federal food code, there is not a way to do away with that. Right now, it's only required of one out of the 2013 food code. They've talked about future additions where one person on a set shift has to have that training. We haven't adopted a newer edition, as I mentioned, but that will always more than likely be a requirement because it's a federal requirement.
The is this bartenders and kitchen staff?
Yes, it would be anyone that works within the establishment.
Servers.
Servers, bartenders.
Hosts.
It's a lot.
when I was at Parks and Rec for many years, you know, and at one time, just a few years ago before I left, there was a talk about not having everyone have a card, but you can't open unless someone in there working has that food
Right.
handler's card. So
Right.
they would be responsible then for the others that were working. So I don't know if that's a consideration, but,
We could.
you know, it's, let me finish.
Sure.
The pool thing, you know, obviously, the CPO requirement doesn't have to be there as long as they are on call, can be there within a matter of minutes. And you have to have that, but, you know, you don't put a person in the chair to lifeguard unless they're certified, and they pay a whole lot more money and go through 33 hours of classes to be able to sit in that chair to save people's lives. And I guess when it comes to public health, the concession is underestimated that you could cause a lot of people to get sick there too. So I can see the need that it's done properly. And you know, in a sense, the $10 minimum wage, I remember the day when it was $2.35, and now it's, what is it, seven something now, I think. But so basically, it's about a little hour and a half of work time for them to pay for the, well, I guess it'd be $20. So it'd be 3 hours of work scheduled to do that.
It's
The
30.
good thing about it, though, if they
Total
require,
finance.
if they're here in the summer and they work, for instance, and then they go back to college somewhere in Morgantown or Marshall or wherever, and they work in a food establishment, they'd already have that, and they could take it with them year round and go to the state. So
But if it
I
was
see pros and cons both ways. And, you know, I think the employee should pay it though, obviously, and not the employer. But if that's the responsibility you have to work there, then you should take that responsibility to pay it. But so I see pros and cons both ways. And I kind of like the idea of just as long as one person in there had it, but That's still not gonna make somebody wash their, and people with it probably don't even wash their hands, let's be
Right.
honest about it.
Even with the
okay?
manager level,
I mean,
unfortunately.
do they really follow the rules even if they have that permit, a handling permit? So it's all about management regardless of what you do, so.
I think it gives the employee a sense of ownership and
Yeah.
makes them responsible in a way. I'm not just relying on their manager that, maybe they'll feel a little bit better because they have that training, that they want to do a better job. I like to think of it that way. But, dealing with food is a serious thing. And,
Yeah.
I like the fact that the certification is transferable, and how many years was it?
So if
One
they
or
get
two.
if they get the statewide, we went with a 1 year, so they can, like I said, if they go back and forth between here and say Morgantown, if they elect that, then for a whole year, that pays for them wherever. There is no rhyme or reason to how other health departments have elected to do it. Some do it for 3 years, some do it for 2 years. It's kind of all over the place, as well as their fees. We went with a lower ended fee of $10 per year. The 99 cents was a processing fee. I had to ask that question of State Food Safety as to, why we needed to charge that. But if you look at some of the other counties, even smaller counties, they're charging much more. So we went with a very, small amount we felt so that it could be affordable for food handlers to have it, and like I said, have it be transferable. And honestly, if they just get the countywide, we work a lot with Jefferson and we're already Morgan. We would probably work with them on that and, have it be transferable if they, just got the Berkeley County.
Should be good anywhere in the state, I would hope.
Yeah, there's two different kinds. There's the statewide and there's the county on here. But since we work so closely with Jefferson, what I'm saying is we would probably accept the countywide, and same with them. We have a lot more contact with them than we have in years past. So that would, mean the employee and the employer would not have to incur any extra cost to get just a Jefferson County.
Not that it matters, but what does it require in Maryland and Virginia, just across the border?
In this paperwork here, there are some counties that are states that don't require it at all. Ohio was one of the ones that did. It says in Virginia it's not required. Pennsylvania not required but recommended, and the employer may require. But yeah, as far as Ohio was one of the only ones in surrounding states that required it for whatever reason, unless things have changed since this data was pulled.
Okay, anybody else have anything for Kara?
I'd be curious as to see if there would be a change in the foodborne illness reporting after this card was implemented or not implemented.
Yes, sir.
So fees, you can come here anytime, the commission can update the fee schedule. Are you saying that this requires a new local rule that's approved by the county commission, it can't be done by the board of health? So these other counties would have as well go to the county commission and create a new local rule?
Well, my understanding was anything due to recent changes in legislature, anything that required a fee of such would have to be approved by our Board of Health and by our local county commission. So I'm not sure how to answer that question.
Just the process for local rules, you have to draft it,
Okay.
put it on the state register, have it on your website, have a 30 days where the public can comment. Then the board approves, and then within 30 days comes before the county commission. There's a lot of steps. And I don't know if there's a letter here, but is that the actual rule draft?
That was the proposal that we made to our Board of Health. And like I said, as far as I know, there are some things that previous we have put out for 30-day comment, but I wasn't told that this was one of those things that I needed to do. So,
What she's saying is that for us to approve it, there would have to be a 30-day period.
Yeah, I think there should be a rule. This is more like just a letter, like these are the things we want to do. The actual text of the rule, put it out there for public comment, come back here.
yeah, we didn't progress with the proposal just because it wasn't formally approved yet. So we wanted you all to see the same proposal that we gave the board. But yes, so what you're saying is put it more in a rule and put it out to 30-day comment and then come back, or?
Yes, if it's a local rule, go through that process, because otherwise then a restaurant owners, this rule doesn't apply, you need to go through
Okay,
the correct process.
okay.
But your board has approved this at this
Correct,
point,
yes.
so, okay.
January, they approved it.
Yeah.
I just didn't know because it's in West Virginia State Code.
That was what my first question was, whether you actually have, whether it is a local rule or if it's just,
It's actually a state code.
I know, I mean, I've worked in food service before and was told to get
Card.
a card.
Mhm.
I never did, but
If it's state code, does it have to go out for public comment? Yeah,
I
I wouldn't think it would.
But if it's state code, how can we not be doing it?
And my next question is, if somebody doesn't have it, what's the consequences?
Probably what it'll be is a write-up, same as if someone wouldn't have the manager level. It's not a, it's probably a priority foundation, which gives them a certain correction.
So you're gonna
timeframe
shut the
for it.
restaurant down?
for that,
You're
no.
gonna fine the restaurant?
We don't
What's
find.
gonna be the consequences if people don't have these cards?
So if they don't have the cards, it'll be a write-up, and then probably there'll be follow-up with reinspection fees until there's compliance on it. It wouldn't warrant a closure, just as if there isn't someone that is in the establishment that doesn't have, say, serve safe or a manager level, same thing. It's not grounds to close the restaurant, but it does require follow-up to make sure that it's corrected within a certain time frame.
So then if they refuse to get the card, they need to be fired. Or else the restaurant will get fined over $100 every time you come back.
Correct, the reinspection fee, yes.
How much is a reinspection
That opens
fee?
a big can of worms.
$125.
My point again, though, is if it's state code, how can we not be doing it? I mean, we should be doing it anyway, and it should be a matter of state code. It's
So the legislature passed, if anything that is a new rule or a new fee that the health departments implement has to be approved by the county commission. That-
We just had never done it.
And the other counties were probably grandfathered in. So if you had that rule before the legislature passed the new bill that read this way, then it's grandfathered in. They couldn't go back and retroactively change health department rules because they didn't want county commissions changing like the smoking bans and that type of stuff. So if you had the rule, it was grandfathered in. Any new rules has to be voted on by the
And
county
then once
commission.
you're in, you're in.
Yes.
And like I said, it's actually been a requirement for a very long time.
Yeah.
We've just never been able to implement it.
Yeah.
Just because of the size and the number of staff to be able to do it.
Well, you used to have it, but you offered the class and the people came and it was no fee.
But that was just for the people that now have the manager level food training. It was for the person in charge, one person from each establishment.
I always sent all my people, but
Are we
Right.
liable, Anthony, if we don't require this and then someone gets ill in one of our county food establishments and we're neglect because we didn't require this?
Board of Health,
What it,
probably not either, but
I don't know.
but it does sound like there's procedural issues that need to be addressed.
I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. Let's get it fixed and then
Okay.
come back, all right?
Move the table,
I don't think we have to take any action.
no action, okay.
The other two items that were proposed changes to our fee schedule, separate from this, were the need for a temporary tattoo permit. That was something the state asked us to implement, a $75. We went with the fee of $75, which is pretty much the lowest fee that we charge for a visit, because the notion of temporary tattoo permits have become a need. That fee there is $75, and then the other fee is a D-box repair permit. And the reason that we came up with that is because, for whatever reason, a lot of realtors have made the requirement of the D-box to be dug up and looked at as part of the process of selling a home. We're not exactly sure why. And in doing that, D-boxes have been damaged. So the way that our fee schedule is now, if the repair fee, if it is the tank, the full amount would be $250 for a class 1 and $475 for a class 2. If they're just repairing the lines, it's $75. It doesn't really say what else that would include, so we want to be a little bit clear that a D-box repair would only be $75 as well. But we have started to see that to be necessary, and we want to make sure that it's done under permit and correctly, so the system works efficiently. So
What is a D box?
Distribution box for drain fields.
So do you think people are changing out distribution boxes now with no permit? Or do you think are they paying the $250 permit fee for the tank?
I don't think that that's the case as so much as, because generally they're undisturbed. Now they're being disturbed because of this requirement by the real estate commission. So now they're being damaged. So that's why we felt the need to address it specifically as the need for a permit. They should know to come to us, but this, like I said, has become way more common. We would probably have just charged them $75 because it's only the tank that costs the normal, permit fee. But we want to be a little bit clear about what the charge is for versus line versus distribution box.
Okay, well, get with Anthony, work out your procedural concerns, and,
Handle it all at one time.
all right, thank you.
Do you need to approve those two additional fees?
We'll just do it all at once.
Do
if
it
you
all
don't
at
mind.
once? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Tim Zide, good morning, sir. How you doing?
Grant season.
It is.
Our grant writer is getting beat up right now. There are 6 or 7 grants that are all open at the same time. All of them but one are recurring grants, but he has to put together new applications every year, collect all fresh data, collect new memorandums of understanding and letters of support and all that. So she's busy.
The good news is they're there to still apply for to get.
Yes,
That's the good news.
yes, several of them that we were unsure about just recently reopened. So that was nice to learn. There's a new funding opportunity though that I wanted to seek your blessing on us pursuing. It's a Bureau of Justice Assistance grant. It's $3 million over 36 months, so roughly $1 million a year. I just want to briefly read the executive summary to you. This notice of funding opportunity supports comprehensive service networks addressing untreated mental illness and substance use at the intersection of mental health, substance use, and justice systems. This program responds to the growing burden of endemic vagrancy, disorderly behavior, and public safety threats faced by law enforcement agencies. These agencies are often positioned as first responders to situations better addressed by health and social service systems. Law enforcement and justice agencies nationwide need actionable alternatives that prioritize both public order and appropriate treatment settings for those experiencing mental illness or substance use disorders. Specifically, this initiative provides funding to support activities through 4 core areas: crisis stabilization centers, treatment services, housing access, and electronic health record systems and technology modernization. So we would like to pursue this funding. There are, I don't remember off the top of my head, but there may be 10 or 15 positions at the DRC that we don't specifically have funding to support. The county commission supports it. So we'd like to see that many of those positions be funded through this grant. So the only new positions that we would be requesting are, I can't remember the names, a reentry navigator and a research and data analyst. Those would be 2 new full-time positions that we'd be pursuing if we were awarded these funds. The rest of the positions these are positions that you guys already pay the salaries for. We're looking to offset that cost.
And they're not being supplemented by any other grants at this point, is what you're saying.
That's correct.
Right.
So the 2 new positions would not cost you anything either, because all the money coming back that would offset those other would way more than cover it.
Sure.
So this would be fantastic if we were able to obtain this funding. Just need to get the commission's approval to proceed.
Sound like a pretty good opportunity.
I'm ready to make that motion.
Yeah. So, okay, so Anybody have any questions for Tim?
No, it sounds like a win-win.
What was the name of the second position? That's all.
The first, one of them is a reentry navigator, and the other is a data and research analyst.
So can we use the salaries that we currently are paying as the match? It's okay. All right.
I
Everybody
make a
good?
motion that we approve the request to apply for a behavioral health diversion and public safety initiative grant for a 3-year period, and give our commission president the authority to sign that, so.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Are there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tim.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks for keep flipping them rocks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, next up, Mr. Mark Barney. Good morning, sir. Good to see you, sir.
Good morning.
See you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me again. I'm here this morning to read a proclamation for Clint R. Hogbin. Whereas Clint R. Hogbin was born in Martinsburg, West Virginia in 1964 and graduated from Hedgesville High School in 1982 and from James Rumsey Technical Institute in 1983. And whereas Clint began working as a federal contractor in electronic engineering, beginning an IT career with the Internal Revenue Service in 2001 that culminated with his retirement in 2025. And whereas Clint was appointed in 1992 to the Berkeley County Solid Waste Authority, where he helped build what has become the most comprehensive recycling program in West Virginia. And whereas Clint's tireless volunteer efforts to make our community shine resulted in the capture of repeat honors for Berkeley County as the #1 county in the state for litter control efforts and as a champion for recycling. And whereas Clint helped draft legislation to establish the West Virginia Voluntary Farmland Protection Program in 2000 and was a founding member of the Berkeley County Farmland Protection Board, which has now protected more than 9,000 acres of farmland. And whereas for efforts given to numerous recycling, solid waste, and land preservation programs, Clint received the President's Lifetime Volunteer Service Award as part of the USA Freedom Corps Volunteer Service Recognition Program and was recognized as Citizen of the Year by the Martinsburg-Berkeley County Chamber of Commerce. And whereas for the thousands of hours of volunteer service he has given to Berkeley County and West Virginia, Clint is deserving of high praise, heartfelt appreciation, and commendation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Berkeley County Commission recognizes Clint R. Hogbin as a distinguished citizen of Berkeley County for his public service and wishes him all the best. Wait for you. Waiting for this day.
Got up this morning and saw my wife putting on a dress. One thing that's for sure about a country girl, she doesn't often wear a dress. And I started wondering.
On Sundays for church, and that's
Yeah,
about it,
that's
isn't
right.
it?
Started wondering what's going on. And that's how I found out about it. Pestering her, what's going on? What's going on? Thank you, folks. I wrote a few notes once I figured out what was going on the way while we were driving in. I remember a time when my son, who was about 6 years old at the time, wanted to take me to school. And they had, take your father to school day, and he wanted me to go, and he wanted me to talk about what I did for a living. And I thought, what I do for a living is pretty boring for kids. realized that at 6 years of age or so, my children didn't know I worked for the IRS. They thought I saved farms and ran a recycling program. I'm very proud of how hard I worked those topics over 34 years. It sort of defined me. And the thing that I learned is that nobody does anything by themselves. A whole bunch of friends here in the back room and a whole bunch of others that couldn't make it. If it wasn't for them, land preservation wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for this lady on the end, where is she? Lavon, Miss Katie, and Miss Hammer, Miss Petrucci, and others I'm forgetting. These folks, Miss Pagan knows more about farmland preservation than anybody in the world. I'm telling you. When I have a question, I go to her. And while maybe I was on the front line, or maybe I was the speaker, or maybe I was the chairman of some group, these were the folks that got her done. Same thing goes with recycling. You folks realize Miss Lashley and I have known each other. Neither of us had kids for a long time, I mean, decades. And there's others. Edgar Mason, I will always mention him. From the south end of the county, he's passed away, but he taught me a lot about how to serve on the board. Jim knew him. John Christensen is somewhere around here. He taught me how not to behave. In a meeting. But I tell you, somebody will do something for you, just like that. You got Mrs. Hammers here over in Jefferson County. She and her husband, he's by trade, as you know, probably, and they kept me straight, right? He knows how hard that is. And Jim Michaels, I think Jim passed away. He's at Morgan County. There were people that appointed me to boards that had to believe in a kid. You can understand, I was 28. And I wasn't particularly very refined. And take that for what you want. And people believed in me, and I'm so grateful for that. Pat Murphy, someone who believed in me and constantly was correcting me. Joe Kisner, my first meeting was in the old courthouse, in the little teeny room, 1992. Donnie Bear. People don't remember him. He was a county commissioner, but for a short period of time, and he got sick. And believed in me. John Unger. Sitting over here is Mr. Petrucci, a person later, but continued to believe in me over, 30-some years, and helped all of us build the best recycling program and the most aggressive farmland preservation program in the state. And it's not just about So, I'll end this with, I'd like to, thank them and you for all your support over the years. Genuinely mean that. Trying not to cry. Makes it harder to see. I'm not sure that I've seen a county commission, a full county commission, that is supportive of the county's volunteers as the five of you. We've had before commissioners that, first of all, we had three, and we had some that didn't necessarily support our position, whatever. But this five is the best five that I've seen in 34 years, or whatever it's been for me out there. And I'm dead serious about that. I maybe don't necessarily agree with something you did or didn't do, but you did it for the right, whatever you did for the right reason. And I want you to know that that's even someone who spends a lot of time home in bed, that's being recognized. Thank you, folks. I'll let you go on with your meeting.
You're not going anywhere unless you need to sit there and take a little break for a minute, but there's a few things, or at least one thing that I'm going to challenge you on. And you said that these boards that you served on, the farmland protection and your recycle and your solid waste authority, they help define you. And quite honestly, it's the opposite of that. You have defined those boards. And I think everybody up here knows that had it not been for Clint Ogden, we would not have these programs at the level what they are, and maybe not at all. But I know that your dedication, I've witnessed it, I've read about it. Your dedication is unmatched of what you've given to this community and the care and the love that you have for the beauty of this community. But like all those things, you've been able to develop partnerships, great partnerships that have paid huge dividends that a lot of people don't even know about. But one in particular, and I don't mind saying, is with Apple Valley Waste. You developed a tremendous partnership with them that during the issues at Storgo, had it not been for them, we would have been faced with a terrible environmental issue. But because you had already established those relationships, it allowed us to help mitigate through that and help support those efforts of getting that cleaned up and back to a healthy project. Yes, sir. But all those things, Clint took leadership, and that's where you come to the top. I don't know so much about your involvement with farmland because Steve will speak about that, and I don't know that, so I won't speak about it. But I do know about your leadership with the solid waste, the partnership that you created with the rescue mission. There's so many other great things that you've done. The stream cleanup, working with the state and everybody else. Simply, thank you. Thank you for everything that you've given, the time that you've taken away from your family to give to others here in Berkeley County. Those things are immeasurable. And on behalf of the commission, I personally want to say thank you so much. I'll turn it over.
Well, we're probably going to hit 10,000 acres this year in farmland, so
All right.
I think we have 4 farms that are going in, so that should put us over 10,000. So that's the highlight there. And then you sold me on the day. A lot of people over the years thought Clint was paid to do the solid waste authority. That he's never taken a penny. So my wife and I have recycled for many years, and I'm down at Grapevine Road about a year ago, and I pull in there on a weekday morning about 10, 11 o'clock, I don't know, had a whole truckload of stuff, and running around in an orange vest is this guy. And I said, what in the world are you doing here? And he said, well, one of the guys called in sick today, so I took a leave of absence from work to use his own vacation day or personal leave from IRS to come and work that day to fill in because no one else could, the place would have to close. And that's the kind of human being he is. And it wouldn't be where it is today without you, Clinton. We appreciate you greatly, everything you've done for our community.
Thank
You make our community shine, and you always have, and we can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Appreciate that, thank you. Remember, folks, it's never been just Clint Hartman. It's been a whole gang of people. Maybe I stood out there with my neck out, but bring it on.
There's not many people, though, in this community who take off a day of work to go volunteer at a recycling center and do that. I can assure you that. So you're in a select few in this world, okay? So,
Okay, need a motion to adopt the resolution.
so,
No, my honor and pleasure to adopt the resolution.
and I would second that resolution.
Been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Clint.
Thank you. Okay, guys. We're gonna take a short break and get a couple pictures. All right, we're back in session. Next up is Chad Weinbrenner, Deputy County Administrator, on our leave policies. First, in particular, the military leave policy.
Morning.
Chad?
I have 3 policies for you today, and they're really more housekeeping policies. The first being the military leave policy, and all 3 of these policies have been reviewed and marked up by your legal team as well. Our current military leave policy is about a paragraph and a half in the handbook. It states the state code and refer to that. It states that we abide by state code. Over the past year and a half, as folks are utilizing the military leave policy, we have a fair amount of employees who are National Guard members. There's been a lot of questions come up, things like, do I accrue my vacation leave while I'm on military leave? What happens if I get activated to active duty? How do those times come up? And all of that is in West Virginia code, and also there are certain protections from USERO on the federal level. So we thought it was important to put together a comprehensive policy that can be available to all of our service members who are employed, for them to be able to refer to when they're taking military policy. Really what this policy does is it gives your employees who are military members a clear framework in how they are supported in their military service, and make sure that we as the county commission are in compliance with all state and federal laws. There's no rewrite to the policy here. It's just taking a lot of things, putting it into black and white form.
You have a feel for the number, Chad?
So we have, through emergency services, I want to say 4 on the county commission, and then the sheriff's department has probably half a dozen.
10 to 15 probably throughout the county, somewhere in that range. Yeah.
Yeah, and we anticipate that as your emergency services continue to grow, you'll see more Guard members. They go hand in hand. My time at the Ambulance Authority, we had a lot of people who were National Guard members who were also employees.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, obviously, with Anthony and your expertise, we are within the law. And I hope, because, I highly respect those folks who are serving in our military, especially the ones who are local, that we don't want to hurt them in any way, that these policies are standard operations. Is that correct?
That is correct. There's nothing in this policy that we have taken any liberties with or created that is outside of what is outlined in code.
Yeah, very good. I mean, I read it last night, but I don't know what the laws are other than what I read.
I hope that was right before bed when you read it, Mr. President.
Well,
Good way to go to
no,
sleep.
no, I can't wait that late. But anybody have any questions for Chad? Need a motion to adopt the military leave policy.
I moved.
Second?
Been properly moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. The safe driver policy. Chad.
Yes, sir. The second policy I have for you today is our safe driver or what is also the driver points policy. This policy has come from working with multiple department heads who have employees who operate vehicles that are owned by the county commission, and coming back to us, I wouldn't say consistently, but often enough, with wondering how to handle things like minor collisions or mild moving violations. And I was in a conversation with Tim Saya one day where we were having a conversation about this, and I just said, do you have any type of points policy or any standardized way that you evaluate your drivers so that, number one, we're being clear and consistent with everybody, but we also can provide them with what the expectations are? And he said, no, I don't, but I think it's a really good idea. So I tasked Tim to begin working the rough draft on this. And the rough draft of this policy was actually created by Kate Harding, who is Tim's deputy director, sent over to us. Gary and I reviewed it. We liked the policy, and we thought this would be a great policy to implement countywide for all drivers of all departments.
Including county commissioners.
Now watch it easy. I know where you're going.
We're employees.
I think you get 2 grace points, Steve.
Oh, okay.
But it was reviewed by legal.
Only when we're in county vehicle.
Only when you're in county vehicle. Again, it was reviewed by Anthony and Jeff. A couple notes came back. This policy does only pertain to county commission employees. Other elected offices could adopt it if they want to, but obviously we can't enforce this on the elected offices, but it is theirs to adopt should they choose. But you have a lot of vehicles on the road and you have a fair amount of employees who drive vehicles, and we think that it's important to have a standard of safety practice to not only tell employees what we're looking out for, but to be able to address issues if they come up. And you have enough vehicles on the road that inevitably these issues come up. And this will give your department heads and managers a good opportunity to be able to address problems.
All right. Any further questions for Chad on vehicle safe driver policy? Okay. I looked it over. I thought it was fair, and you know, we do have a lot of vehicles on the road, and you know, these drivers do have responsibilities that they need to maintain. So need a motion to adopt the safe driver policy.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion?
Just one quick, but what's the reset policy? So like, I mean, is
1
this,
year.
okay, it resets every year?
Rolling 12 months.
Okay, okay. That's
And you
all.
know, there's a lot of vehicles out on the road that are from nonprofits and all that have county tags, and people think they're county employees that are not, but,
We've gotten a couple phone calls up here.
yeah.
We deal with those
Yeah,
calls.
we used to get them at Parks and Rec all the time.
We get
them. Actually, I was the driver one of the time, so. But anyway.
Been properly moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, ayes have it. Internal job transfer.
So the last policy I have for you is, policy is an outline of a procedure for internal job transfer for county commission employees. As the commission employee base has grown larger, it's been fairly common for folks to move around within the commission. And we just think it's time to outline a standard practice on how to do that. So what we're asking with this internal job policy is just that simply when somebody applies for an internal job, the hiring manager, number one, reaches out to the current manager and speaks with them to find out, you know, what the status of the employee is, make sure they are eligible for transfer. Because we've outlined in here, we don't want folks transferring jobs when they've had less than 6 months on the job. They may be under some specific disciplinary action that the hiring manager may not be aware of that may preclude them from being eligible for a job. So just very simple things like that. And then also would have the hiring managers work with the current manager to have a smooth transition period. So that when a job is offered, the current manager has an opportunity to post and fill the vacancy. The policy does not give current managers any authority to decline the employee. The purpose of this policy is not to limit anybody's ability to move and better themselves. And this policy also is very specific in non-retaliation for managers, prohibiting them from taking any retaliatory action against an employee for trying to post out of their department or job to get into another opportunity. Again, nothing, we're not reinventing the wheel here, just really prioritizing through this policy communication between the hiring manager and the current manager to make sure that transitions are done smoothly.
All right, very good. If I have any further questions for Chad? All right, need a motion to approve the internal job transfer policy.
So move, Mr. President.
Second.
Been properly moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay. Well done. Next up, Gary, to approve the grant process for the
Yes.
audit.
The draft audit. So you have, you are in receipt of the 24-25 audit. I'm proud to note that there are no findings. The purpose of this for the commission is if you so choose is to waive your post-audit review with the auditor. You have historically done that only because there's no findings and all was in order. So really what I need from the commission is to approve the president's signature to sign the document to waive the post-audit review. My signature goes on it as well. And then there's just a letter that confirms. It's just same as you've done historically. And again, nice and clean, and we move forward.
Okay, need a motion to approve the draft audit and give the president the authority to sign.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
I like the Disney signature they have on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one, if you'll recall, you had an opening for ballistic helmets for the sheriff's department that has been reviewed over there. We have a letter from Chief Burnett. The low bid did not meet specs. They're asking that the commission award the bid to CIE Defense, and these will be paid from forfeiture funds in the amount of $24,350.
Okay, need a motion to approve the purchase of the ballistic helmets to CIE Defense LLC in the amount of $24,350.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Let's go and conclude our scheduled agenda business for today. We do have a need for executive session for legal and real estate. So need a motion.
Economic development, sir.
Economic development. Need a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. President, I move that we move into executive session for both legal matters and economic development.
Okay, we're back in session. There is action to be taken.
Mr. President, I move that we make the motion to participate in the Remnant Defend opioid settlement and give the president the authority to sign any documentation that needs to be signed.
Been
Second,
properly motioned and second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Let the record show there's nobody from the public. Need a motion or recess?
Mr. President, I move that we recess.
So, and recess.